I'm Charlotte with Freezer Meals 101. With back to school coming up, I thought I would go over some really easy make ahead lunch ideas because that way your kids can pack them in their lunches. They also make great after school snacks. So today I'm just going to do a quick demonstration of how easy these are to do, and hopefully this will give you a lot of good ideas. So to start with, I've taken some cream cheese and just softened it at room temperature, and then I've added some shredded cooked chicken. Now I got the shredded chicken from rotisserie chicken that was already cooked. I actually did a video on freezer meals you can make with rotisserie chicken. But for this, we're just using some of that cooked rotisserie chicken. And then we're going to add some salsa. So you can use mild or even like a mango or peach salsa if you don't want it to be too spicy for your kids. And I'm using a medium because my kids are a little older and most of them are really fine with spice. So just gonna create this mixture, combine all of that, and then we are going to spread the mixture onto some flour tortillas to create some chicken pinwheels. We're gonna slice these up, and you guessed it, they freeze. They freeze beautifully. So kids can pull out as many as they need to add into their school lunch. Now, when you slice it, there usually isn't a lot in the ends, so you can either toss those or you can eat them, because sometimes there's a little bit in there. So I usually end up eating some of those. So you just want to take the air out of the bag before you seal it, because air is what causes your freezer burns. So you want to get rid of as much of that as you can to protect your food. And there you have a whole bag of your chicken pinwheels. Great for lunches. The next thing that I want to do is English muffin pizzas. Now, I know that I've made those with you before. I'm gonna change it up just a tiny bit this time. And all I'm doing differently is this time we're going to bake them first. The other ones that I made them so that they were completely done except for the baking. And so those are great for after school snacks or for lunches at home. But of course, most classrooms or lunchrooms don't have an oven that you can use. So we want to be able to bake them beforehand. And this way, kids can take them and they're already baked and they can just use them in their lunch, and then the cheese is all melted and everything is good. If you have younger kids, you can make the ingredients into little patterns, like make little smiley faces or the initials of their name or that kind of thing, just to make it a little more fun. Again, my kids are getting older, and sadly, the happy face mini pizzas would be lost on them at this point. So we're just gonna make some regular pepperoni English muffin pizzas. So I've gone ahead and split the English muffins in half, and then we're going to add some jarred pizza sauce. Feel free to use a homemade, but I'm just gonna use jarred today. I'm gonna make this as easy as possible. I'm actually planning to do all of these lunches for school lunches, or all these ideas for back to school lunches, in under an hour. So in that means under an hour my time, because obviously when I'm making the videos, I speed things up for you, but my goal is actually to get all of this made in under an hour my time so that I can go ahead and feed my family supper and get on with things. also because I want to show you just how quickly this can be done. So we are just adding some pizza sauce onto each English muffin. Then you're gonna add your toppings. So you can do like ham and pineapple ones, you can do green pepper and black olives, you can do bacon, whatever you want. Today we are just doing pepperoni. Any of your favorite pizza toppings will work. And then we're gonna top it with mozzarella cheese and put it in the oven. We're gonna wait until it is fully cooled before we add it into our freezer bag. That is for two purposes. One is we don't want them to get soggy, and when they're in like a closed environment like that and they're still warm, you get some moisture in there and that'll create soggy pizzas, and nobody wants that. So the other reason is because when you add warm things into your freezer bag, that again creates extra air, excess air from the change in heat, and so then it can cause freezer burn. So for those reasons, we're gonna wait until they are fully cool before adding them to the freezer bags, and then we'll freeze them just like this, and the kids can pull them out one at a time and add them into their school lunch. So this one is ready to go in the oven, and then we'll have some mini pizzas for those lunches. I will be right back. This next thing is so easy that I can't call it a recipe because it's ridiculously easy. We're making PB&J. Did you know that you could freeze PB&J? You really can. So if you are not allowed, or your child is not allowed to bring peanut butter to the school because of nut allergies, then you can use wowbutter or nut butter, or just do jelly sandwiches instead. So we are doing actual PB&J because some of my kids are going to be taking them to work and those kind of things, and in their situations they don't need to worry about peanut butter being an allergy for anyone. So we are using sandwich bags to put them in, and here's the only thing you really need to know about freezing peanut butter and jam is, like, I'm really going to just put peanut butter on one side and jam on the other. I'm gonna slap them together, I'm gonna cut them in half, probably on an angle because my kids prefer it that way, and then I'm gonna put them in the sandwich bags. The only thing you need to know is that these are not freezer safe, so you're gonna put a bunch of these ones into a larger freezer bag, and then the kids can go in the morning when they're packing their lunch, and they can just grab it from here and take one out and take it with them. That's it. So I know it's ridiculously simple, but sometimes the simplest ideas are the best. So you want to lay your bread out because you're kind of going to make an assembly line. And this is a fun one to get kids to help you with too. You can put one of them like in charge of the nut butter, or it's not called nut butter. That would make no sense. That's allergy too. Like wowbutter or sunbutter. Put one of them in charge of that and one of them in charge of the jelly, and they can really feel like they're helping. So, and they are helping. Okay, so we're gonna do the peanut butter ones first. So we'll do every second bread, and then we'll do the jam on the other breads. And really, that's how easy it is. So without too much squishing, so I didn't want to squish the sandwiches, I was able to fit all 9 sandwiches in one of the large zip top bags. So this can go in the freezer, and then these sandwiches are ready. I'm just gonna go check on the English muffin pizzas and give everything a wipe, especially because of that peanut butter. Even though we don't have any allergies in our house, you want to be careful about cross-contamination in case you have somebody else over sometime and they're eating something that was made on a surface that previously had peanut butter on it. So anyway, just got to be careful of the allergy thing. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll get started on our pizza scrolls. All right, my kids like pizza flavors. I think I might have been saying that before. And so I've tried a few different ideas for little pizza kind of bites. And I've tried the little mini muffin trays with the pizza dough in them, the refrigerated pizza dough, and then filled those little cups that created with pizza sauce and some little mini pepperoni. I'm not sure if I did any other toppings in there, and some cheese, and then baked those. And my kids liked them, but the last time that I did lunches and snacks for the freezer, I made pizza scrolls, and they loved those. Those were a way bigger hit. So similar ingredients, actually, it's just refrigerated crescent dough, and then you spread it out, put your pizza sauce, whatever toppings you want. I was going to do ham and pineapple today, but I didn't have any pineapple because I didn't plan that out. So again, I'm going to be doing pepperoni and cheese, which is pretty boring actually. But I'm gonna add a little bit of Italian seasoning on top of the pizza sauce. And then we're gonna roll it, slice them, and then bake them. So you wanna bake them first and then freeze them, and then they are completely, totally ready to eat on the day that your kids bring them in their lunches. Now, if we're really gonna talk about preferences and my kids, they would rather have the homemade pizza pockets that I make. They like that better than anything else pizza flavored. I think they even prefer those actually to actual pizza. But I just am really feeling in a time crunch today because like I said, I just want to get all of this done in an hour. Partially because I need to get supper on the table, but also because I wanted to show you what's possible if you only have like an hour on a weekend afternoon or in an evening, just to get your freezer filled with some things that your kids can take for their lunches. Show you what they look like when they come out of the oven. But last time I made these, I floured the counter and rolled it out on the counter, and then I just had a lot more cleanup to do, so I decided to do everything on the cookie sheet. And then there was a little bit of pizza sauce that, you know, squished its way out as I was rolling and slicing. I did find the pizza cutter worked better than the knife, so I switched to that after the first attempt. But anyway, so this is less cleanup, and I think, you know, faster and easier in the long run. I'm gonna pop these in the oven and do another little round of cleanup just so that it doesn't get overwhelming for later. I kind of like to clean up as I go, if possible, because it just makes it easier later and feel less overwhelming for me. So after I get back, we are going to do some mac and cheese muffin cups, which are gonna be really fun for kids to take in their lunches and just fun for kids in general. So for the mac and cheese muffin cups, you can just take your favorite homemade mac and cheese recipe and you can cook that up, not Kraft Dinner mac and cheese, but like a homemade actual mac and cheese. And then you can scoop that into a muffin tray and bake it. And then they will hold their shape for the most part. I mean, if you don't pack them in there really good, then they're gonna fall apart a little bit. But if you want to, you can also use silicone muffin tin containers so that the kids can actually take that silicone container with them to school to eat the mac and cheese in. That works really well, and those can go from the oven to the freezer and then back to room temperature, so those are really nice and safe. So these are something that kids will think is cute, and if they like mac and cheese, they'll probably be a big fan of being able to bring it with them in their school lunch. So after I bake these, then I'm going to allow them to cool again before I transfer them into a resealable bag. If you're looking for tons of easy family recipes, then I invite you to subscribe to us here on Freezer Meals 101. We have just in a little over an hour, it did take more than an hour because of the bake time on things, but in a little over an hour, we have filled the freezer with all kinds of great lunch ideas for back to school. So I hope this has inspired you to make a few things ahead. If you do try it, let me know in the comments how it goes, or if you have any questions, then be sure to put those in the comments. I do love to hear from you guys. I have another video, I'm gonna put it right there, and it has all kinds of snack ideas that can go in the freezer that can then be packed in the school lunch as well. So that might also give you some really good ideas for your kiddos. Thanks for joining me today, and as always, happy cooking.